Welcome to NinonSpeaks. I'm Ninon de Rosa, and I have an incredible guest. I have Jana Jackson, and I don't usually do politics actually, but I'm doing politics today because I really believe it's very, very important to get us women out there. We're a little bit, behind the behind whatever we're behind. I don't know why, because something I don't know if anybody's realized out there in this very large world that without women we don't have anybody. So if that's what everybody wants, then we'll all disappear. Us women will disappear, and that'll be the end of the world. Is that what you want?
That's very true.
Isn't that true? Well, I've always said that women don't seem to understand this, that without us, nothing happens.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. We have a very soft nature, but we're also very strong. I mean, just being able to have a baby shows that we are very, very strong.
But just having the baby and then actually bringing that child up into this world of sort of whatever the world is right now, or whatever it is at the time, and to be strong and to understand a child or to understand somebody else without them even talking. I don't think men have really quite understood that we do the same thing with them. They don't have to say a word.
That's right.
Is that true, Jana?
Oh, it's absolutely true. I had mentioned in one of my presentations that most people don't realize, but children that are in third grade will be voting in 10 years. So that's sort of a statement that women understand. Men just sort of say, oh, okay, that's right.
Really?
But and students that are in third grade right now, children in third grade will be voting in 10 years. And that means that this system has to be able to get them ready for that voting. And we as mothers, as daughters, as women, the one thing we do is we prepare our children.
Yes.
And in this political system, now it's at an age in which women are realizing we are very important to continue their growth. Yeah. So one reason I'm running
women, we don't have children. We don't have children, we don't have anything. So come on.
Right.
Guys, just understand that, maybe they approach them and say, oh, how cool is that? But
that's right.
not cool. Not cool at all. Now, Jana, you are, what state are you in?
I'm in Arizona, in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yeah, you're in Arizona, and you are running for Congress, right?
No, I'm running for the House. I'm running for the Arizona State House. Yes.
Can you explain, so that people that are listening, our viewers, explain what the House is and why you're running?
Well, the reason why I'm running, I've been in education for 28 years, and it's getting close time. It's time for me to retire. Okay. It's time for me to allow younger teachers to continue. And I have 7 children. 4 of them are adopted. They are all adults. They are all over the United States. I don't have any grandbabies yet, but it's just really important right now for people to realize that in order for people to continue and to prepare our world, it's going to be about the women getting ready to prepare this world. The House of Representatives is the house that is the lowest. So you have the House, but that's where bills are written. So you write the bills in the House. After you write them, then they are voted in the House. And from the House, it'll go to the state. It'll go to the Senate. And this is the Senate within the state. And then from that, it goes into the third level, which is the United States Senate, which is Congress. They will go to Washington, D.C. So I'm running as a mother, as a teacher, as an educator, wanting to be in the House because that's exactly where I will be I will be able to influence the bills that are written and also write my own bills. And I usually try to think of it like this, that if you don't have it, if you don't put something in, you don't have it. So a lot of politicians are attorneys and they're business owners, and they have a different mindset. Whereas being able to be a woman and come into the House to write a bill for all people, but especially to have that female influence of, I'm a Christian woman, I'm a mother, I'm a teacher, and I want to make sure that these bills can actually be something that's meaningful to the children that are growing into this system.
So the actual bill that you are very concerned about is about the school system and what has come to fruition over the last 2 years, because I think because the pandemic has done very well, by the way, because it's brought a lot of things to surface. And it's brought the school system to surface more than it's ever been to surface at all. It's never been, you know, like we're trying to vaccinate kids of 6 weeks old, or I mean, 6 months old. It's ludicrous, ludicrous. But now you are trying to change a few things in the school system that we are now probably more aware of than we've ever been aware of. Are our children being treated as under 18-year-olds as good as they should be by over 18-year-olds?
That's right. That's right. When you look at what's happening in the classroom, it is meaningful. We need to write bills that are meaningful, which means they are directly related to our classrooms. Mm-hmm. And what parents are finding out is that all of these things that go through the house really and truly don't influence the classroom. And that's where that meaningfulness comes. Yes, you can write a bill, you can talk about the taxes, and this is a good example. They said, our state said, well, if we don't get the money, then that means that there'll be X amount of money for the children. Well, the truth is it won't be, because the money does not go directly into the classroom. Money that we put into—
Why does it not? Why does it not? If it's specifically supposed to go into the classroom, why does it not? Who is stopping it, and why is it being stopped, or why is it not being noticed?
Because it's when people think of school, they think of the classroom, but they don't realize that the money does not go directly into the classroom. The money is placed and it's given to the school board. From the school board, it goes to the superintendent. The superintendent then is the overseer of what's going to happen within the school district. Then you have people up at the top, not saying that we don't need them, but the people at the top then look at where that money is going and they allocate it into certain programs. Then from the programs, it goes into teacher training. And then from teacher training, it may then go into the classroom. But you see all of those levels that we're talking about, by the time it gets to the classroom,
there's no money left.
You might have 2 cents left.
There's nothing left. Now,
yeah,
I'm going to just interrupt one thing. You know, there's no excuse for how old anybody is to know what's going on in a classroom, because at one time, these people that are running all this different stuff were once in a classroom. So they know very well how a classroom is run. When the little kid comes in, say 5 years old, they start at 5 until they're 18. They know the whole reason why they're there and what they're there for.
Exactly.
Did they not notice when they were kids or when they were growing up the things maybe the children should know what they're missing out on? The children don't know.
Well, they don't see it. So when you go, for an example, the beginning of the school year, you have more teachers that are standing in line with pencils and paper and erasers and bulletin board materials and science materials. That's coming out of their own pocket. Children don't realize how much teachers actually put within the classroom to make that environment a special classroom. And so now we have the backpack program, and people are giving kids these backpacks, but they have to realize 5 years ago, the teachers bought all of those materials that were within that backpack. So when you say, where is the money? Then you see the teachers at the store spending 10%, 15%, sometimes even 20% of their money to put into their classrooms. You sort of understand that the teachers are saying, apparently, that money is not going from the top to the bottom. And the reason is because of how it is allocated when the money comes into a school district. And
so how can the teachers find out to their governor or to wherever this money is presented and put? Why can't they all get together and find out exactly and have a list of where all this money is going and what it is? Because it could be going in other projects I'm not saying that they would do this, but if they're given money to do something, then they should be doing it, and they're not.
Well, they are doing what they are allocating the money for. It's just that the money is not allocated.
They don't even know where it's supposed to go there.
I'll give you another good example.
Okay.
It's time now to purchase these books.
Yes.
And every student should have a book. Well, right now, every student does not need a book because we have the laptops.
Correct.
But that money is allocated to purchase books. Then they have money that is allocated for consultants to come in to tell teachers about what they are actually reading and having within the books. Then there are programs that they're paying consultants to come into the school to train the teachers. Well, someone sets a budget. And when the budget is set, if you're going to pass a bill, you need to make sure that that bill is going to directly relate to the kids in the classroom. It has to be meaningful to what we are teaching our children. And so for me, when I look at all the people that are the champions of small businesses, which we need, entrepreneurship, which we need, looking at different kinds of whether or not we're going to put party houses into neighborhoods, we need people to look at that. Whether or not we're putting money into the police department, which we definitely need, whether or not we're going to first responders, which we definitely need. You need someone to cheerleader or champion bills that are going to directly relate to getting into the classroom for the classroom teacher to have meaningful experiences for our kids. And that's me. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to serve the entire state of Arizona. I want to be able to serve all of these other programs.
Now,
but I want to make sure.
Jana, when you say serve, you mean that you want to keep an eye on where all the money is going. As you said, a very great point. They don't need books actually much more because they have computers. Has this computer thing worked? Is it working in the school room?
There are some incredible programs. I teach you with an incredible program. Now, this program, I actually started to learn this type of program, this internet kind of learning 2 years before COVID hit. So when COVID hit, I was all ready because I was all set up. I was ready to go into the classroom. And, there are beautiful ways in which I even invite my parents to come into my classrooms through the internet. So they know exactly what I'm teaching. These things are already set up. So when I say that this internet is so wonderful, the textbook industry one day is going to fade away. We need more education on how to bring these kinds of things into the classroom. And we need to be able to have bills with appropriation of funds. We also need an evaluation system. So when we give them $1 million, we know exactly where that $1 million is going. And that's the school board. The school board will be able to do that. Or if they are allocated to do the evaluation, they will do it.
Absolutely. Do you think, I'm looking at, I look at the television a lot. I see what's going on. I see what's happening out there. Do you think we've got a lot of too many older people running our country? We've got a lot of old, I'm old too, but I'm not running the country. I'm running something else. But there's a lot of older people. I'm not saying they shouldn't be there. I'm not saying they're not knowledgeable. But don't you think with this day and age, with technology and how the children have advanced, the children are nothing, a 10-year-old is nothing like when I was 10. They are so advanced. But you've got these old ways that they're still not into the computers completely 100%. They probably do it very well. I'm not going to knock any of them with that. But don't you think we need that kind of a more of a younger generation running the country?
This younger generation, I think, needs to be prepared. I am all for term limits. They need to be prepared because in 10 years, this is when I sort of predict that in 10 years, it's going to go from this older generation to a younger generation.
I hope
because
so.
we've not had that to bring them on board. But the term limit is an example, a perfect example of how people that are my age will be able to come in and sort of bring in the younger people so they can keep our country stable. We need to be able to bring in more young people, but we don't need to jump in and say, here, take it over, because there's some things only learned by experience.
Everybody has to be trained and everybody has to learn.
Right.
But
term limits.
But if you're not in there in the beginning, how can you learn? You've got to get in there. You've got to get in somewhere.
Right.
So because the technology is changing every single day, this technology changes. And I don't see these older people. I'm not saying we get rid of them, but I'm saying, can't we bring in more of the younger people? A lot of the teachers have had to relearn technology.
That's right. In fact, when I really need to know something when I'm on the program, I use a program called Teams. And right now I'm teaching my students how to develop websites from what it is we're learning in science. My students know more about what and how to do it on the computer than I do. They don't understand the content, but they do understand the laptop.
But
So
they can put it together. They get the whole thing together.
Exactly.
Which is right, because that's communication. So they can do that. And we don't have that in our running of our country.
That's right. In fact, this is another perfect example. I was looking at the briefing. It was a news briefing, and Biden was given his two people that were under him were giving. They were talking about Russia and some of the things of what we're going to be doing. People that are young understand that they know what is happening when it comes to cyber, when we're trying to use that cyber system.
Well, the attacking of the cyber, that's what they're talking about, right? The attacking of the cyber can happen anytime.
Exactly. And so being able to listen to them and understand what they are talking about is beautiful. That's a beautiful example of two young people on television explaining to the entire United States, the entire world, this is what is happening. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful because the people were no more, I say no, maybe 30 years old, maybe close to the 40s, but that's exactly what we need. We need that kind of leadership. We definitely
30, 40-year-olds. I'm not talking about young
right.
kids. I'm talking about 30, 40. I'm talking about young, that young. And absolutely right. And they absolutely do, because they've been brought up in the last 20, 30 years in the technical side of life, whereas the older people do not know.
No, there's so many things that we need to make sure that we are putting within our educational system, because our children need to be ready. Maybe the next war will not be fought with men with guns. It might be fought with cyber attacks. And a cyber attack is exactly what we're talking about.
Isn't that what we have right now? We have all these cyber attacks. That's like a war, isn't it?
That's right. It is a war. Our world is changing. And in order for us to maintain number one in the world, we're going to have to change with them. And that's my idea of being able to bring bills into the school systems in which we can prepare our children for the next 10 years. So when I say that the student that is in third grade right now will be voting in 10 years, that's what I mean. We understand 10 years. 10 years is going to come. And in 10 years, I won't be running for the House. In 10 years, I'll be looking for someone and training someone to come and take my place of saying, we really need to look at what we're doing in the United States. And so it all comes down to being able to pull together, to understand that we all are needed, especially women. You talked about the women. We are needed. We are needed within this political system.
Well, we look at something a little bit different to men, and so shouldn't we? And I'm not putting men down. I'll never put them down, because I've always said men are men and women are women. And we all, we live together and we get married and we have children. Then we get really more complicated. But we have our way. And I think if we respect each other, there's a lot of men and women that respect each other, a lot of them. But I think that the women need to be a little bit more out there, a little bit more secure with themselves as to who they are. They should not be competing with men, but they should be showing men what they can do and what they can't do. I mean, they can't go out there and lift 100 weight, whereas a man can. Woman doesn't want to do that.
That's right.
But she can speak in front of a bunch of children and explain to them and help them with what's going on, especially in the cyber world. The cyber world has taken over.
It's taken over.
I don't think people, it hasn't registered yet.
Right. Being able to prepare. And then when you look at the bills that we're passing, they're not the way they were 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago.
Not at all.
So we have to be able to keep up. And then you can't just say, well, I'm an attorney and I'm going to work on an education bill. I think that's great, but you need someone right there working with you that understands the children that you are actually writing that bill for. That's right.
What do you think? Which do you think is the strongest country in this entire world with technology? And we can probably name 3 or 4 places, but which one do you think is the real leading one, or whether it's China or America?
We would have to be the leading one, because we have to go back and remember NASA had a computer was the size of a room. I mean, that was the first computer. The computer. Bill Gates did a wonderful job in his garage.
Yes.
We have to be number one, because that knowledge came from us. Therefore, we are number one. And I think something that's beautiful is they're taking these young people, and these young people are actually learning and hacking so that they can find the holes in the hacking. I mean, United States is number one, and we now have to stand to say our children are number one. If we put another country before us, we're putting our children before them.
So we've got to get, so you're absolutely on point with the educational side. If we don't educate, we cannot have, now you're running, which is neither a Democrat nor a Republican. You're running straight for the kids, 100%. What doesn't
100%. I am a Republican, and I have all these reasons: God, family, and country. That's me. But I am saying
we have to teach our children.
We have to protect them. We have
to teach them one way, and when they get older, they can choose which way they want to go or who they want to be on, all that stuff. Yeah. Same as religion. I mean, a mother can bring a child up as a Catholic, and I don't want to be a Catholic. I want to be whatever I want to be. So that they can change. They can change that. But I think that we definitely need to be more open, and I think we need to keep an eye on our schools more than we are, because these are our leaders. These are our technical kids. These kids are more advanced than they've ever been. They're learning different things than we learn, especially what I learned. So I think what you're doing, what would you need us to do, or what would you like to say out there? We've got a couple of minutes left.
I would like people to go to my website, JanaJacksonAZ.org, and just help me by sending, if they sent $5, that would help me in my funding to buy all kinds of yard signs. I mean, there are things that you really need when you're running on a campaign, and that's JanaJackson.org. That's my webpage. And that webpage will show you and tell you so many things, that I am more than just the teacher. I am a teacher that has worked for NASA as an aerospace education specialist. I am a teacher who has written curriculum for NAVC, PPP, and task-based curriculum. I'm a teacher who worked for the Alaska Aerospace Corporation, putting the Challenger Center throughout that state. So I classroom, fight for the children, and I will work hard to serve people. That's it. You have to learn to serve the people in your community, and I will serve. I will stand for the people. I will stand for their children.
You sure will. But you have a lot of guts out there as a woman, and you've been very successful, and congratulations of everything you've done. The only reason Jana Jackson is who she is because she put the time and effort into it. You can't just sit back and say, well, we want this done and that done and not know about it. So the reason she's running and what she's doing is because she knows exactly 100% what the kids need, where are we going. They are going to be running our country. I had a children's show, a teenage show for 16 years called Voices of Tomorrow. And I gave kids a platform to speak out as to who they were, what they were, and every single child has a chance to do something, whatever it is. Every child has something. And you, as a teacher, Jana, are one of those people that can give them a little bit more, something a little bit different than what most teachers can give. So, which is an advantage for you to be there. How are you doing with your campaign? Is it going good?
It's going very well. I'm out knocking on doors every day, asking for signatures. I need to get I need to get 1,000 signatures, but I only need like maybe 366. So I'm out every day knocking on the doors. I'm trying to do as many programs as I can. I do programs on CRT, critical race theory, and I'm really trying to work hard and fundraise. I've got to fundraise. So if people could send me $2, $5, it would just
$1. If everybody sent $1.
That's
$1, $2. I mean, $1 makes $2. $2 makes $4. $4 makes $8. $8 makes $16, and then we go to 32. So,
I have to say, I'm a teacher.
You are a teacher, and you're teaching extremely well. You are absolutely amazing, Jana.
You're
just wonderful, and I loved you. You were on my other show, Vegas Live with Ninon, and now we purposely put this show out there. And of course, Maria Pureza is my producer of NinonSpeaks, and my producer as well. And she's going to make sure this gets out there. We must make sure we get it into your town, and you can put it. You can use it. I'm telling you, you can use it anywhere you want. I want to thank our audience out there. Thank you so much for watching. This is amazing. I don't really that much go into politics or things like that, but this is not really politics. This is just taking care of our our children in the technical world, because it is a technical world out there. It's absolutely amazing. Thank you, Jana. You are wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you again soon. Take care. Take care,
Okay.
everybody out there. Don't forget to go to Vegas live with Ninon as well.
Yes.
Thank you. Take care, Ninon.
Bye-bye.